Massive backfire on Jack Smith. Your plan, you're going to eat it. Here's all the warnings coming out of the media now, and it's all because of what happened with making Trump a felon. It just is going to snap back on him so hard. I've got articles and proof to back it up. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I hope you guys have subscribed. Get me up to that 490,000 mark. I can't do it without you. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. Let's go. Here's the headline. This is the New York Sun. Alvin Bragg's triumph could backfire at the Supreme Court and make rockier Jack Smith's path to a Trump conviction. What does that mean? Why does this hit the Supreme Court? Remember, Trump's at the Supreme Court over immunity. And when they see what Alvin Bragg did to Trump, Jack Smith's going to have a tough time convincing the Supreme Court that Trump should be prosecuted. They're going to go, look, this is why he needs immunity. You know what I mean? Because of political prosecutions like the New York conviction. The district attorney's convictions could focus the minds of judges and justices on the precedent of presidential prosecution. They're Exhibit A, Jack Smith. But real quick, we're going to get back to more. I have a whole article to read you, but here's Eric Trump Jr. with another way it backfired. Trump's making dough, gaining popularity. This is a huge, unprecedented, unforeseen error on the Democrats' part.
A little inside information, but as I was leaving my house about 37 seconds ago, I asked my wife, what are we up to now? And she said, just in terms of small dollar, we're well over $70 million. This is, you add the large dollar donations to it, you're over $200 million.
That's combined with all the large dollar donations just since Trump's prosecution, just since they had declared him a felony. $200 million. Remember when everyone was crying over him losing $400 million on that fake judge, the other court case with Letitia James? He's almost made up for half that in just a few days. Trump's got money, he's got money and support is going through the roof. Even from non-donors, non-political people are coming out to support Trump. He's creating new supporters.
But you're over $70 million. And by the way, Maria, wow, 30% of those people have never been seen before by a political party, right? I mean, these are Americans who are pissed off.
30% have never been seen by Republican or Democrat parties. That is non-political people. You realize in a country as big as ours, if Trump was getting around 75, 80 million votes and Biden was getting around 75, 80 million votes, that's 150 million votes. That's about half. That means there's half of the rest of America to come in and still vote, that we can still expand and grow. And Trump is doing it because of the conviction. He just had to sit there and defend himself, and he might go to jail, but it's going to put him in the White House.
Yeah. We saw it with impeachment 1. We saw it with impeachment 2. We see it where they weaponize every liberal DA and AG across the country with one intent, to take him down, to slander him, to ruin his reputation, to try and divide his family, to try and bankrupt him, to throw him in jail. And America sees through it. They know exactly what's going on.
That's the biggest backfire of all, is that America is seeing through it. America, they're not dumb. See, the Democrats think you're dumb. We know it's been made clear now. In case you thought Trump was just guessing or paranoid before, that the system is corrupt and they're hunting him and they're hunting you and I. Well, now everyone has proof, Jack Smith. See, now it's not a theory anymore. Now we know. Let's get to the main article. I saved it till last. Thanks for hanging with us and watching to the end. Here goes. This is from the Orange County Register, my old stomping grounds in Orange County. The rigged trial of Donald Trump could backfire big time. Here we go. This is by Susan Shelley. Thursday's climax of the Manhattan trial of former President Donald Trump may go down in history as, quote, the reverse OJ, unquote. Although juries declared one famous defendant not guilty and threw the book at the other one, Trump, the reactions after both verdicts were similar. Screams of celebration and ecstatic cheers from people who saw what they believed was a score-settling justice in the outcome, transcending any reality in the courtroom. Quote, Beat the police, unquote, was the theme of the OJ revelers. Get Trump, unquote, was the theme of the festivities Thursday. Other people were horror struck by the verdicts in each of these cases, seeing them as a catastrophic failure of the American system of justice. That reaction is less noisy, but more volcanic. Soon after the verdicts, the Trump campaign website was so overwhelmed by the number of people simultaneously making donations that it crashed and temporarily went offline. People were throwing so much money at Trump, they broke the internet, in other words. It's like a satellite fell out of the sky. Although the Trump conviction may not hold up to an appeal, it could have a long-lasting impact in another way. Right now, the U.S. Supreme Court is considering whether former President Trump will have any kind of immunity from prosecution after they leave office. During the recent oral arguments in the case, known as Trump versus United States, Chief Justice John Roberts raised a concern that some prosecutors might not always act in good faith. Oh, he sees it. He brought that up. That's a quote of John Roberts, in good faith. There are, quote, layered safeguards, Michael R. Dreeben assured him. Dreeben was arguing on behalf of Jack Smith, the special counsel appointed by Attorney General Merrick Garland. Smith charged Trump in 2 separate federal indictments soon after the former president announced he would run again in 2024. Dreeben said once, so this is Jack Smith's argument, said one safeguard was, quote, a politically driven prosecution would violate the Constitution under Wyatt versus United States, quote, unquote. Another was, quote, prosecutors take an oath. The attorney general takes an oath, unquote. That was his big defense going, no, this isn't, this isn't a danger, the political angle, because we have an attorney general. And the Supreme Court now can laugh at Jack Smith. Later, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, yes, had a question for Dreeben. Quote, let me ask you about the state prosecutions. She said, a lot of the prosecutions that you're talking about are internal protections that the federal government has, protections in the Department of Justice, which obviously are not applicable to the many state and local jurisdictions across the country, like ones in New York and Georgia, Fulton County, Georgia, and Washington, D.C. What do you have to say to that, unquote? She asks. They've got him. The Supreme Court's watching this, guys. This is going to backfire on Jack Smith so bad because they're going to say Trump has immunity. The Supreme Court. And this is Exhibit A. What happened in New York, Trump being a felon, is exactly what they're talking about. This is beautiful. So, and then here's what Dreeben, Jack Smith's guy, said, quote, the states do not have the authority to burden federal functions, unquote. That's how Alvin Bragg broke this whole thing. He went up as a state actor and upcharged it, the misdemeanor, to a felony and acted as a federal, made this a federal issue. Good to know the court's decision on immunity for ex-presidents will apply to everyone who held the office now and in the future. The effort to, quote, get Trump could lead to a landmark decision that forever protects all former presidents from legal harassment by partisan opponents. That could be a perfect ending. You might say it fits like a glove. I'm Doug in Exile.